Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another video of the Forgotten Journals. It has been quite a while since I established the design for the Forgotten Marines, and today I'll be putting it to use on these assault intercessors. I've been reading through your comments, and in some of them I've gotten quite a lot of good critiques and suggestions. The design has changed again, as you'll see later, but the core paint job has remained the same. The box set contains parts for 10 assault intercessors, but in this video I will only be building a squad of 5. I would like to make something special out of the other 5, so if you have any good ideas, tell me in the comments. I started by cutting parts out of the sprues, cleaning them and separating them into piles, torsos, legs, arms, all the weapon options, etc. Then I put them together and created basic shapes and poses, gluing some parts and just blue tacking the others. I love to make my own poses for my miniatures, and these were no exceptions. With a combination of cutting, gluing and using additional green stuff, I was able to make 5 unique poses for all minis. At this point, I was also already planning the bases that would come later and adjusted the pose of the miniature accordingly. Then, it was time to take out my green stuff and bits and start customizing. The amount of detail I've put on the individual miniatures varies, but it goes a bit like this. I cover all the messy joints with leather bands or scot the under armor if I really feel inspired at that moment. I then add additional leather straps and pieces, as well as different pouches, trinkets and a skull here or there. On this power pack that I later decided to use on a sergeant, I also switched the regular exhaust with these gargoyles, sourced from the Chaos Rhino. I've also 3D printed a doggo body for the company of one of the Marines. These are all 5 poses and finished conversions. Now, let's talk about the painting process. If you follow my posts on Instagram and YouTube, you may have seen I discovered a magical resource called Oil Wash. This was inspired by a comment I got on the first video, and I'm so glad I tried it. The miniatures finally look like I want them to, and I truly believe this is the last change I will make to this army's design. So, here is the final list of paints used for painting a Forgotten Marine. For base coats I use Zendri Dust, Leather Brown, Iron Warriors, Corax White, Ahriman Blue and a 50-50 mix of Mephiston Red and Abaddon Black. I wash the miniatures with a 70-30 mix of burnt umber and black oil wash, heavily diluted with odorless thinner. I make my own oil washes, but I'm sure there are some you can buy already made. After it is dry and cleaned, I use Morghast Bone, Baharot Blue and White Scar for the highlights. Got it all? Let's dive straight into it. I base coat the entire miniature using Zendri Dust. This will ensure that even if I miss some areas of the brown, the white undercoat will not shine through as much as it would otherwise. I applied thinly in 2 coats to get even coverage. I painted the leather straps and bands with leather brown. This is a paint by Army Painter, but you can also use Montfang brown mixed with some Zendri Dust. I base coat the white parts in 3 layers of Corax White. The metals get a pass with Iron Warriors, trying to get as little as possible on the white parts. I also base coat the purity seals in Ahriman Blue and the handles in the mentioned dark red mix. Now it is time for the oil wash. As you can see, I'm not particularly careful with the application, I just slop it all over the miniature. I leave it to dry for around 10 minutes and then with some oil thinner I pull most of the wash away. It still stays in the recesses and stains the flat areas with this rich brown, which I adore. I leave it to dry overnight now, and next day I start highlighting it with thinned Morgas bone and Baharot blue. I also paint the bases using Rhinox hide and a mix of Abaddon black and grey cere, and then dry brushing it with Morphin brown and Korang's white. I take care of the poor bugs that are laying under Marine's feet, and a black rim concludes this epic paint job. And there we go, everyone, the first finished squad of 5 epic Marines. I couldn't be happier with how they've turned out, and I'm so very proud of this legion finally getting into its final shape. Thank you for all of your support and patience. I am aware that there have been more than 2 months since my last video, and it is for a reason. I do have school, and there might also be a month gap between this one and the next one, who knows. We're finishing the school year, and there is no week I have no exam until the beginning of June, so hang tight. I will as well, and we'll see more forgotten goodness bring up in this space. I have an awesome project in the making, the last thing from the last year August, and I will be finishing it up this month, and it is one of my favorite things I've ever built. Coming soon. If you have enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe and comment. YouTube has kind of stopped recommending my videos lately, so it will help, really help a ton if you press your thumb on the like button. I would appreciate it. And until we see each other again, have a good one, everyone.